Hello, my name is Christian and welcome back to this channel. If you're a manager, especially a manager of a remote team, I want you to be honest for a second. Are you still drowning in a sea of to-do lists? Are you taking on tasks that your team could be and probably should be handling? Well, then that's a sign. You're probably not leading, you're just doing. And in the remote work world, where clear communication is paramount, this problem gets amplified. It's a common trap many of us fall into. In this video, I want to walk you through a clear, actionable framework for a proper delegation. We'll cover the exact steps that you can follow to delegate tasks effectively, empower your team, and free yourself up to focus on the things that really matter, like, for example, strategy, mentorship, or growth. Before we dive into it, I want to just differentiate between delegating tasks, and that's different from delegating responsibilities. A task usually refers to a concrete action and outcome. Delegating responsibilities is more about leading by objectives. So, for example, your objective is to increase revenue by 5% by the end of the year. Your job how to get there. But in this video, we will focus more on the delegation of concrete tasks. So why does delegation feel so difficult sometimes? Well, based on my own experience and my observation, it usually comes down to a few key issues. First, there is the classic fear of losing control. You might think, well, I'll just do it myself. It's faster and I'll know that it'll get done right. The problem is that it's only faster in the short term. In the long term, I can assure you, you'll become the bottleneck for your entire team. And then when you actually do delegate, we have the challenge of vague handoffs. We say something like, can you handle this report? And then get frustrated when we get something back that doesn't meet our expectations. Basically, you've just asked your teammate to read your mind, and now you're upset that they couldn't. A task that's unclear to you will be impossible for your team to get right. I also see a lot of what I would call fake delegation. You hand over a task, but then continue to micromanage every single step. Essentially, you're making your team member a very expensive pair of hands to do exactly what you would have done anyways. And finally, there's a big one, especially in remote teams, the lack of accountability systems. So a task gets assigned, let's say in a Slack message, an email, and then it just disappears. There's no clear ownership or way to track its progress. So you end up chasing people down for updates. Well, begs the question, how do we fix this? Well, we need a solid framework. And yes, while it's costing you more in the short term, you will be surprised how much more free space you'll have in your calendar in the long run. So let's break this down into two main phases. Phase 1, setting expectations and performance management. So this is all about clearly communicating your expectations, your needs, what you want to have back. And step 1, decide on what to delegate. You might want to look at tasks that are repetitive, administrative, or most importantly, tasks that someone else can do better or more efficiently than you. My rule of thumb is, if I've done it more than 3-4 times, it's a potential candidate for delegation. Step 2, assign clearly. And here it's all about being specific and concrete. Don't just say, handle this report. Say who you're delegating to and what exactly you need to come back and why. So for example, Jane, I need you to create the Q2 sales report analyzing regional performance and outlining opportunities. Do you see how this type of a briefing is much more helpful? Which leads us to step 3, set expectations. Again, being very specific, define the deadline, the priority level, and a clear done criteria, also known as the definition of done. For our report example, that might be the deadline is Friday, 5 p.m. The priority is high. Done means it's a Google Doc with a summary paragraph and a chart showing a month-over-month trend. Step 4, give authority and be clear about it. This is a crucial one. You want to empower your team members to make decisions and to know what they can decide on their own. For example, tell them you have authority to pull the data as you need it and decide which metrics are the most relevant. Reach out to the sales team directly if you need. So this also frees up your time because people don't come back and check in with you unnecessarily. And then there's the last step of phase 1, very important, confirm understanding and buy-in. Don't just assume that they've got it. Ask a question like, so to recap, what's your understanding of the key outcomes and the deadline? This step ensures that everyone's on the same page and that there's a willingness to take on this responsibility. Now, with the expectation setting out of the way, we can move to phase 2, coaching. Now that the task is out there, your job shifts to supporting your team. Step 6, follow up smartly. And this isn't about micromanagement. It's not about checking in on outcomes on every single step. It's about providing help and support. A good approach is to, have a check-in throughout a mid-project, or simply ask, do you have everything that you need to get this done? I mentioned the lack of accountability tools before as being in the way of proper delegation. So the remote age has made delegation a bit easier, provided that you use the right tools. So here are a couple examples. You can use project tracking tools like Asana or Trello to create clear tasks and deadlines and owners. Tools like Notion or Confluence are great for documenting progress so team members can work autonomously without needing to ask for every little detail. And for asynchronous updates, something like Loom or Slack clips can replace quick check-in meetings, giving your team more focus time. Of course, one of the most effective tools for this is MeetGeek. It's an AI meeting assistant that automatically captures meeting notes and, most importantly, extracts key action items and assigns its owners. This way, a delegation doesn't rely on memory or messy handwritten meeting notes. It's automatically documented and shared with the team. I actually made a full video on 7 powerful ways to use MeetGeek in your business, and I put the link in the description below if you want to dive deeper. Ultimately, delegation is more than just offloading work. Proper delegation requires a shift in mindset. Instead of seeing it as dumping tasks, view delegation as empowerment and investment in your team. When you delegate effectively, you're telling your team, I trust you with this, I trust your judgment, and I trust you can get this done. What you really want is to build trust and autonomy, which allows your team members to grow, learn, and develop their own experiences. When you're not the bottleneck, you stop being a manager who just does work, and you start being a multiplier for your team's potential. So to quickly recap our framework, you start with the performance management and expectation setting. You decide what to delegate, assign clearly, you set expectations, give authority, and last but not least, you confirm their understanding and buy-in. When everyone's on the same page, you can then switch to coaching mode in phase 2. You provide the support when needed, and you follow up smartly. By doing this, you're not just making your own life easier, you're freeing yourself up to focus on things that are truly important for the work of leadership, like mentoring your people, shaping strategy, and building a thriving business. Delegation is way easier when you have the right systems and tools in place. In fact, I recently shared a video on how teams are using MeetGeek's upgraded version with GPT-5, making meetings smarter, ensuring teams leave with clear assigned action items, and you can watch this video right here to learn more. And as always, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, please hit subscribe, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.